Hey, good morning, good afternoon. Sorry about that. Yeah, we have a tornado warning out for Beauregard Parish. Wanted to go live with that. I was watching that cell to the west, and I saw they issued the warning on that. I was like, well, man, that one to the east looks even better and or worse. And so yes, the warning was issued. So we have a tornado warning now. Let me pull up that text for you. Again, did not expect to see much of this today, but to get an isolated report like this or an isolated warning like this again was within the realm of possibility. So we have two tornado warnings, one out in Texas, the one for Beauregard we're going to focus on, and this is for this is until 4:30 for southwestern Beauregard Parish. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Bancroft or near Fields, moving northeast at 25. This is radar indicated. This is not confirmed. It's going to be near Bancroft, Bivens, and Fields around 4:05 and Oretta around 4:25. So let's go ahead and jump down into this. We've kind of dodged everything up here across, like Rapides Parish so far. Just been some rain and thunderstorms, but just rumbles of thunder over anything. Let me go in and show you the velocity on this thing, and you can see something there, but actually at the Lake Charles site, that's where I saw a little bit more. So put it in motion here, show you what's going on. There is your tornado warning right there, northwest of DeQuincy. The worst of this going to be pushing up toward Fields, and that is going to be rolling about 25 miles per hour toward the northeast. So that storm right there, that's the area we're watching. There's your velocity showing that rotation very clearly. I'm pulling up a road here. Come on. Okay, that highway through Fields, that is 109. So 109, if you're along 109 from Fields up toward Mystic, and if you're in that Bivens to Bancroft area there, that's where we have a tornado warning right now. And you can see that over the last 15 minutes, that has really kind of ramped up. Now, on the debris, don't believe we're seeing anything here. Let me put it in motion and see what's going on here. As of now, I don't think that is located right along that strongest wind shear that we're seeing at the surface. But there's a pretty clear hook echo with this storm as this tornado warning is in effect for the next 25 minutes or so. So tornado warning going on with this storm. Another tornado warning on this cell out to the west, but you can see definite rotation going on in this one. This one's a little more messy up here, not really seeing much at all on that one, so I'm not terribly concerned on that. This one is the one that we're going to be watching closely, and that's the one that is in our area. I'm pulling up chat just to have that here, and yeah. So we have the two tornado warnings. These, because of the setup we have today, I don't expect these to be very long-lived, but definitely when we have a tornado warning, we're going to go live with it. And there it is in motion right now, moving toward the northeast at about 25 miles per hour. Down the line, I don't think this will be tornadic when it gets up toward DeRidder. If you're along 171 there, watch out for this storm. But the way I'm looking at it right now, I don't foresee this becoming anything too crazy there when this gets up that far to the northeast. But for right now, we do have some pretty significant rotation. So let's go in, show you where the strongest rotation is. Again, Highway 109 right here. That's the yellow line. And Hayfield Road, Cooper Road, Brushy Road, Baltman Road, Clay Pit Road, and Bill Doyle Road. If you're in those areas, that's where this thing's going to be coming through here. And that's where we have the rotation that we're seeing at about 2,100 feet above ground level. So, it's not the strongest signature we've ever seen before, but it is one that, with that circulation being a couple thousand feet off the ground, it's possible we get a brief tornado out of this thing. So we have the tornado warning going for another 24 minutes. Let me do one thing here. I doubt we'd be able to see anything anyway, but what I'm going to have to do is kind of use the camera view from the website because I've got everything updating right now. So we're about to be back to full strength here, but as of now, we are not. So let's go to the cameras. I'm just going to pull this up for me to see right now, and then I'll pull that up for you. But yeah, there is your area of rotation, southwestern Beauregard Parish. Here's the big picture. There's Beauregard Parish, and that's where this, in the southwestern side of that, right east of the Sabine River, that's where we have that tornado warning right now. So let me go in. I'm going to just look at this camera here. Not seeing anything, but I'm going to move it around. That way we will just jump over to that if we do see anything worth taking a look at here. I'm going to go look. It's probably about 15 miles away from that still. So we're probably not going to see anything. I'm just scanning the sky right now, seeing that it's raining there. The cows are all good. Yeah, okay. Not seeing anything worth showing there for right now, but I will keep an eye on that. This is that storm right here. Let's take a look at the lightning. Plenty of that going on in here with both of these cells here, and these are moving toward the northeast at about 25 miles per hour. Everything's just kind of flattened out overhead here in Rapides Parish. We're not seeing crazy thunderstorms, just some steady rainfall, and that's what we're actually seeing at the camera site there in northeastern Beauregard. But this right here, that is where we've seen these storms pop up, and they're pulling in that instability from the south, so that inflow is feeding in lots of unstable air and just enough wind shear to spin up a possible tornadic thunderstorm. So we have that tornado warning that's going until 4:30. Up to the north, saw some hail and some storms earlier. But we're still seeing some storms and some severe storms, but that's all north and out of our area for the most part. We do still have a severe thunderstorm warning for extreme northeastern Natchitoches and northwestern Wynn Parish, but the big story right now is going to be our tornado warning down there over southwestern Beauregard Parish. Tornado warning for Newton will be canceled, so that one's going to go, or that one is probably they're taking that one down. So this is the main cell that we're watching right now, right here, and possibly some hail perking up in that one as well. Let's go in a little bit closer and show you where that would be. You could see hail perhaps up to quarter size if you are around Dump Road, Bivens Oilfield Road, Old River Dam Road, and then right on up toward Digger Franks Road and Spring Branch Road. So that's where we're seeing this heavier core of action right there. Let's go ahead and see what the velocity is looking like. Let me go back to Lake Charles. I think that's a better view of this storm. And we definitely see something in there. It's just that I don't see this as a... as I'm seeing it right now, at 2,000 feet up, that's not a signature that makes me think there's a strong tornado imminent, but we could see a tornado fire up with this one. Could be a brief one out of this as it moves across southwestern Beauregard Parish. Sorry, kind of took me by surprise. I'm looking at radar, and I'm like, it looks interesting, and then, yeah, boom, tornado warning. So I'm just checking around on the cameras, seeing what we have here, and so far not seeing much of anything worth showing you right now, but tornado warning continuing here for this cell. Now that warning out there in Jasper and Newton County, Texas has been allowed to expire, and hopefully we'll see that happen fairly shortly with this one. But I think with the signature we still have on radar, they're probably going to keep that going. So let's lapse it over the last 30 minutes. You can see as this storm fired up, that's when we saw that. I mean, it really quickly happened here. This cell just quickly got that shape, started to kind of bend around. You see the inflow coming in, real traditional look there in a couple of scans, and that's when we got the tornado warning. And we have that threat for hail as well with this, as this heads up toward Bivens and north of Fields. Now, if you're in Fields toward the west, that's where the worst of this is going to be. And it's going to be right out here where that hook echo is there between Bancroft and Fields. No updates there. So let me go back in, see if we have an updated scan on the... Not seeing anything different there just yet. I don't believe that would be a debris signature. Just see. Velocity. Yeah, see, that's kind of out here, out ahead of this by, a half mile to a mile. And so I don't think that's actually something that would be... I don't think that's a debris signature, and if it was some brief signature, that's gone anyway. So that's looking a little bit more improved right now. Tornado warning continues until 4:30, so another 19 minutes on that, but I would not be surprised to see if that was taken down a little bit sooner. Going to go into the other radar. Yep, we see the rotation continuing right there with this cell. So it is a supercell thunderstorm, and this storm is forecast. See, when I change it to storm relative, it makes it look different like that, but you can still see the rotation in there. That's just like if we're riding along with the storm, if we're just kind of floating through the clouds with it, that's showing the actual motion that's going on with the cloud, and it takes out the storm motion. So it makes it easier for us to kind of diagnose what's happening inside there. And you can see here as we put this in motion, definitely had a little perk up there in southwestern Beauregard Parish, right there under where the arrow was. That was when the tornado warning was issued, and I see why they did it. for sure. So there is that cell moving toward the northeast. Just some light, steady rain here over Alexandria. I know a lot of outdoor things going on this evening. I know there's, I'm talking to someone right now about an event that cannot have any rain at 8 o'clock, and I'm not really optimistic for that in the Alexandria area. So you can see these other cells that are popping up, just weaker showers. But I mean, when you go back, let's go back an hour and see what this one was an hour ago. It wasn't much. So an hour ago, we had that little, you can see in the last 45 minutes, that thing really fired up. And it kind of looked like it came out of nowhere there. That thing went from nothing to something very shortly. So we'll be watching all these little cells here over the evening and just seeing what happens with that. But for right now, the tornado warning continues. Let me see. They're typing. Come on. Tell me it's going to be canceled. Wouldn't that be lovely? That other one was so brief. Okay, so go over and take a look at Lake Charles again, see what we have going on. And we have the rotation there in southwestern Beauregard Parish, just a few miles east of the Sabine River. Pretty rural area out here, but we do have some folks that live out that way. Baltman Road, Brushy Road, Lovett Road, that area is where we have that rotation right now. But when I go in and take a look at the numbers on this, again, this does not tell the entire story, but, 48, I'm looking for the most extreme. 66 miles per hour in difference there, but if you get really close in, 38 to 12, so 50. We're seeing rotation there, but we're not seeing it really tightened up and kind of coupled together in those real close quarters. That when we see that, that's when we think, hey, we have something that's going to be imminent here. So reflectivity looks a little messier now. Not seeing the same look, not seeing that same hook we were just a little while ago. And you know how I do it. I just want to cycle through and see a bunch of this stuff. Monitoring for flash flooding concerns. Very efficient rainmakers. So yeah, so if we, and they're talking about out in Texas, but basically these storms are really producing a ton of rainfall. Let's look at the last hour, or last 3 hours, because that's on this radar, the only way I can do it. Heaviest stuff's been up to the north. That's where we actually do have some flash flood warnings going on right now. I did record a 55 mile per hour wind gust earlier from the camera site at Toledo Bend. Let me see. I want to see one other thing. I want to see if we ever got one out of Natchitoches. I actually lost that camera for a while. I don't know if it was a lightning hit or what, but it is back now and only gusted up to 23. But that might have been messed with by the fact that we had the lightning there to knock it out for a little while. So this is rainfall totals down here, and that's where they're talking about possibilities for flooding issues. So if you are watching from southeast Texas, Jasper, Newton County, some big-time rain there, possibly a flooding concern as this cell will be moving fairly slowly, but our main concern right now is that tornado threat. Let me clear that off, go back in and see what we have here, see if we have an update on our velocity scan. And yeah, I mean, I still see it there. I don't see anything that's terribly strong there. Again, light, low-level wind shear with this. So it's going to take some smaller scale things like outflow off another storm interacting with this. And then we can see that low-level spin up there. But hopefully in the next scan we see this kind of spin down, because I don't think they would reissue the warning right now, but I also don't think they're going to cancel it just because there's still some rotation in this storm. So let me go back to the comments and everything, see what's going on. Where is this in relation to Alexandria? About 75 miles southwest, kind of just northwest of Lake Charles there. So that's where that storm is. It would have to go through a lot to make it here. Yeah, I-20, it's been bad up there. Lake Charles, this one's going to stay to your north, so not worried about that from this cell, but let me see here. Let's go over real quick. What do I have up here? Yeah, we'll go with the latest HRRR model. This is our high res, and I'm just going to go through this and show you the evening. It looks like storms are going to continue. Again, that's right there why I can't say that, it's hard to clear things out at 8 o'clock. There's that event that can't have any rain going on, but you look at 9 o'clock and it's looking a lot better. So it does look like it's going to be a little lesser later into the night as I thought, so that's great. We don't want to be up all night with this stuff, but there could be some morning showers lingering there for dragon boat stuff, so if you're going to be out for that, could be some rain as well with that one. Let's go back to radar because we do have an active tornado warning going on. Let's see. We should have another update by now. Base velocity, storm relative. Still a little kink in the field there, but I would be a little surprised if we had a tornado right now. There is a tornado warning. I want you to seek shelter, common sense stuff and everything, but this is not one of those higher end situations where I'm looking at this and saying there's a tornado imminent or probably occurring with this one. So that tornado warning continues for another 13 minutes over southwestern Beauregard Parish, but like I said, I don't think it's going to be reissued. Sorry, I got a little fuzz off the mic here. Apologies. Got a little itchy nose. But still some storms, some strong stuff out to the west, and you can kind of see here. Let me go over the last hour. So you can see how everything's kind of back building into Texas, but we've had this little vacancy overhead right here across the central part of the state. Severe thunderstorm watch continues, and I think we will see some more storms work into the area over the next few hours as this band of energy moves to the north. We're going to see some storms move in from the west, so these storms out in Texas are going to sneak in, I think, but for now it looks like the severe threat, while we have a tornado warning, I think the severe threat stays fairly low. Our main issue is going to be damaging wind gusts, isolated damaging wind gusts, and maybe some hail. And the reason I say that, as we have a tornado warning, is we just don't have this is not one of the stronger signatures we've seen on radar in a while. So that's, I'm going to look way up in it. Might as well take a look at the Shreveport radar too. And this is what I do. This is why I sit there and I watch this stuff. I click between 100 screens at the same time. I go back through like that. And you can see here over the last, we had a real, it really, you can see why they issued that warning, but it looks like it's kind of becoming a little more linear right now. And we're seeing less rotation, less strong, concentrated rotation, and probably more of an isolated damaging wind threat with this one. So if you're in that area, I want you to seek shelter, but I don't want you to be, I don't want this to be pegging the anxiety meter too hard because this storm pretty much looks messy right now. So that is your tornado warning for southwestern Beauregard Parish from Bancroft up to Bivens. That's where the rotation is, right in this area, just to the west of Fields. And they're typing, and I'm hoping it's going to be, hoping it's cancel the warning and get back to work, Nick. Which this is work too. Actually, this isn't. This is, I do this. This is what this is. It's not fun to be dealing with tornado warnings, but it's fun for me to be talking about weather. So never work for me on that. Let's go to this radar, put it in motion. That is what we're looking at right now. Had a couple of tornado warnings, just boom, boom. You can see that first one, that was quick. That thing was only around about 10 minutes. This one here, better looking cell. You can really see that, you can see that hook as this thing did strengthen briefly there to look pretty impressive. So the rotation with the Warren storm has broadened out a bit. It's retained its depth, so they are going to keep the warning going. So we're going to keep this rolling for another 10 minutes. Tornado warning here in southwestern Beauregard Parish. If you are in that area, you need to seek shelter right now, as this could potentially produce a tornado. Tornado warning does not mean one is on the ground. It just means that the conditions are looking ripe for that development in the next short period of time. It doesn't always mean it's going to happen. A lot of times we don't see that happen. So I like to try to communicate the risk as best I can without freaking you out too much. And in this case, that risk seems to be pretty low. There's your rotation. Let me see. Okay. I'm going to go up different tilts. And you can see, I'm going up higher in the storm here. 5, no, okay. So up on that third tilt, we're looking at about 5,200 feet. And there is still something going on there. Go down to level 1 where we're at 2,000 feet, and it looks a little bit different there. I'm going to try this. All levels? Yeah, I don't want to use that. So yeah, that's your storm right there, southwestern Beauregard. You can tell I'm kind of playing out the string here. I am not overly concerned with this one. Let's see what the lightning's doing on it. Still plenty of that. Counter at 126. Where was it here a little while ago? 187. So we saw a big pulse up over 200, and then things started to kind of drop off. Still a strong storm, possibly a severe storm, and there's still some rotation. So still a tornado warning. But again, I just like to let you know when I am really seeing something that deeply concerns me, as opposed to something that I'm just kind of like, okay, yeah, I see what they're seeing, but I don't think this one is going to be anything too crazy right here. So let's hope I'm right. So put it in motion once again. There you go. Over the last hour, we've seen these storms fire up. We've got a lot of stuff out here. I don't know if it's LSU baseball that's playing out at College Station, but that one I think starts at 6, and that's going to get delayed, it looks like, as storms are happening out that way. Just had thunder at the house out of this. See, that's the thing. That's why I hate lightning. You'll just get a rando out of this. You just get a random positive bolt of lightning. That's the ones with the real crazy loud thunder and everything. And that's what just happened. So I heard that, and that was probably about 6-7 miles away from me. Flood warnings continue from Natchitoches through Winfield up toward Monroe, just east of Jonesboro, maybe including Jonesboro. In this area, we've seen several inches of rain already, and we still have some heavy rain moving overhead there. But the severe thunderstorm watch goes until 7. This tornado warning here goes another 8 minutes until 4:30 p.m. And Thunder and Ball, you probably heard the same one I just did. That was this. Yeah, that was that strike right there. Yeah, that was old stuff. So that's what I heard. We heard it together. There goes a storm out there. You can see a lot of these are having trouble really getting rooted here. And that's what I've seen with a lot of these that are running further out to the east here. Until you get up along that boundary up to the north, that's when things really do activate. And we're kind of in between that here. So with that, with that gravity wave that kicked off the storms and the southerly flow keeping them kind of parallel to that front, we're not having to deal with nearly as much down here in Alexandria. Still have a tornado warning going on for the next few minutes here in Beauregard Parish. Let me see. Let me go to the lightning, get it out of there, take a look at velocity, because we should have an update, and there's not much going on. Not much going on. But it's a loud storm, I can give you that for sure. But that surge of wind is probably going to be the worst you're going to have to deal with here. So some wind gusts, maybe 40, 50, 60 miles per hour. But the threat for a tornado is pretty low in that warning right there. Let's see if we have a storm track on that. Yeah, let's see. BTI 2.6. If that thing's above 6.7, that's when I start to really get concerned. That's low, and it looks like severe hail is probably... Oh, LSU baseball game was delayed until 8? Okay, perfect. Thank y'all. I appreciate that. Yeah, my friend texted me. He's like, you think they're going to get going at 6? I was like, no, I don't think so. I think it's going to have to get delayed. I think they'll go at 8, though. I think they should be good by then. Well, sorry, I forget I'm on air. I'm chewing ice right in the microphone. I apologize. So no other warnings active apart from the flood warnings up here in Natchitoches and Wynn Parish, and then further to the northeast into the Monroe area. And as people were saying in the comments, a lot of water standing on parts of I-20 out there toward Shreveport and probably out toward Monroe. Flood warnings around Shreveport, Mansfield, and then down into northeast Texas as well. And the storms, they stretch back into deep east Texas, and these are going to continue to try and come out this way. Let's take one more look at our latest run of the high-res model. It's not perfect, but it did pick up on these storms that were developing pretty easily. Now, it has storms right over Alexandria right now. That is not happening. But you can see over the next few hours, everything's going to kind of just shove on through. And then I think the severe threat, as that front moves through, we're going to see things really start to improve. Now, in Natchitoches, the dew point's back up to 64. It did drop down to 58. I'm looking at the camera side here to see what they had there. Toledo Bend, dew point's still 67, but up to the north, those dew points are dropping. It's going to be much cooler. It's going to be a lot nicer day for tomorrow. So, oh, that's kind of cool. I'll just show you these clouds. They're kind of creepy looking. This is from the DeRidder camera. It's not a tornado, don't worry. But that's just the site. And again, you can see all this weather stuff here. So the dew point down there is 72. Up in Natchitoches, it's 64. So there's definitely a difference in the air mass there. Where we have this going on down here, that's where we have... Oh, wait, I was on the back end there. Yeah, no, I wasn't. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. But that's where we have more energy, more juice for these storms to fire up and get cranked up. And now I'm showing you my caster profile. There we go. This is what I wanted to do. All right. Caster's what I stream with here. It's not a big deal. All right. Natchitoches. No, we're going to DeRidder. So, and this is how I move the camera. And this is what I do. I just sit there and click and move it. And I see there's the cows. All right, just some creepy looking clouds. Kind of cool. Nothing dangerous there. Let's go back to radar, take a look at that, see what we have, and then I'm probably going to go ahead and get on out of here because even with, well, I got to get rid of that. There we go. Okay, there's your radar shot right now. Tornado warning will be allowed to expire at 4:30. Just got the official word from NWS on that. So that is what we're looking at. That tornado warning continues for the next few minutes. They're going to allow that to expire unless something drastically changes, and I don't think it will. So we still have a little bit of rotation in there, but as I said, the warning is going to be allowed to expire. So I'm going to go on and get out of here because I'm repeating myself at this point. One more big picture look at the radar. Let's go up to another site, make it look okay. So there you can see when we go to this site, we can see more of the thunderstorm activity. This is going to push this way. We'll probably see some resurgence in the development out there across East Texas, across the Lakes region, and that will try to push into our area. And we'll be watching these storms as they come up from the southwest as well. But more rain for the evening. I think after we get past about 8 or 9 o'clock, the threat's really going to drop off. So some good news for you there. Hopefully no more tornado warnings. I am actually heading quickly out to a graduation for my nephews. Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate that. And Tom is ready. He's going to be here from like 5:30 to 7 to cover any sort of warnings that pop up. But got to go and wish them a happy graduation and all that good stuff. So I will be there. But tornado warning going away in 2 minutes. They will not be renewing that one. If I see it pop back up before we leave, I will certainly jump back on. But I hope you have a safe and wonderful evening, and hope I don't see you. Hope Tom doesn't have to see you again, but he'll be doing his regular forecast update as well here in a little bit. So I'm sure he'll run you through radar and let you know what's going on. Have a safe evening. I will see you back here later.
In the event of a water damage emergency, call PuroClean of Cenla.
No matter the weather, Alexandria Emergency Hospital is always here for you. Rain or shine, our doors are open 24/7 to provide the care you and your loved ones need fast. Every second counts, and Alexandria Emergency Hospital is here to help you through any storm.